Think dark mode is saving your eyesight? Think again. Science shows it might actually be giving you a headache. What's up everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm AI designer Yogesh. Today, we're breaking down the psychology, the tech, and the hype behind dark mode. Let's look at the case study.
There is a satisfying feeling when the harsh glare of your phone flips to black. Dark mode feels like a sleek, modern aesthetic choice, but it actually takes us right back to the literal origins of computing. In the 1970s, a pitch-black background was the unavoidable default state of digital technology, long before it ever became a modern design preference. Early monitors relied on cathode ray tubes, a technology adapted from military radar. These machines were highly inefficient. If an engineer attempted to illuminate the entire screen with a bright white background, the sheer volume of electrons required would rapidly burn out the screen's phosphorus and destroy the hardware. In the early days of computing, the machines dictated the terms. The digital world was dark simply because the hardware couldn't survive anything else. As computers moved out of laboratories and onto office desks, designers faced a problem. They needed the digital world to feel familiar to everyday workers. This is the Xerox Alto, one of the first machines to use the desktop metaphor. To make screens behave like paper documents, designers inverted the colors, placing dark text on a bright white background. This physical paper aesthetic became the uncontested global standard with the mass adoption of flat-panel liquid crystal displays, or LCDs, throughout the 1990s and 2000s. Inside an LCD, liquid crystal layers naturally rest completely transparent, allowing a continuous backlight to shine uniformly through the panel. To display black, the screen expends electrical effort, applying voltage to actively twist those crystals shut, blocking the backlight. For 30 years, human biology and our desire to read digital text exactly like a physical piece of paper completely dominated the hardware, forcing machines to work harder just to maintain that bright white standard. Then, at the 2018 Google Android Dev Summit, the tech industry hit a wall. Smartphone makers were dealing with a massive issue. Their devices were rapidly bleeding battery life. Google took the stage and made a stark public admission. Their own software design guidelines, which aggressively pushed bright, stark white interfaces across all applications, were actively draining mobile batteries at an unsustainable rate. This energy crisis happened because the smartphone industry had recently pivoted away from those standard LCD screens and adopted OLED technology, which operate under an entirely different set of physical rules. Looking at this microscopic view of an OLED panel, you'll notice there is no single continuous backlight behind the screen. Instead, every individual red, green, and blue subpixel generates its own independent light. This creates the true black OLED advantage. To display a black pixel, the specific subpixels don't need to block light, they just shut off entirely. When they go dark, that part of the screen draws zero electrical current. The massive rollout of dark mode in 2018 served as a desperate software patch designed to neutralize a hardware power drain that was killing smartphone batteries globally. Curious, but researchers at Purdue University decided to rigorously test those exact power savings on popular applications to see if they held up in the real world. This chart highlights their findings for the most extreme use cases. If you are standing outdoors under direct sunlight with your screen pushed to 100% peak brightness, dark mode yields a massive 39 to 47% reduction in battery drain compared to light mode. But watch the data when we apply average daily behavior. When sitting indoors with auto brightness set to a normal 30 to 50%, the battery savings completely collapse. The difference between light and dark mode drops to a barely noticeable 3 to 9%. The underlying physics of OLED power saving are mathematically real. But the practical promise that switching to dark mode will magically double your daily battery life is a delusion for the average user. With the massive battery savings debunked from most indoor environments, we are left with the final promise: eye comfort. In low light rooms, a pitch-black interface reduces harsh screen glare, giving the eyes a rest and helping mitigate computer vision syndrome. But human biology pushes back depending on your environment. In a well-lit room, your pupils naturally constrict to limit incoming light. Trying to focus on light digital text set against a dark background with constricted pupils forces the eye to work much harder. This becomes a specific physical danger for users with astigmatism, a highly common condition where light refracts unevenly inside the eye. For these users, dark mode turns into an active source of visual fatigue. Because of that uneven light refraction, the bright white text visibly bleeds into the dark background. It creates a halo effect that causes letters to blur, making reading significantly more difficult. The Purdue researchers discovered a simple compromise for this. Running your screen in light mode at a low brightness setting actually draws the exact same amount of power as running dark mode at a higher brightness. Dark mode is not a magic, universally superior setting. It is the beautiful, flawed result of a 50-year tug-of-war between the rigid physics of our machines and the biological needs of our eyes. And the only real victory is finally having the choice.
So, is dark mode actually better? The design truth is, it's a tool. It's a tool, not a cure. Use it in low light to save your battery, but switch back to light mode if your eyes start to strain. Now, I have to ask, are you watching in dark mode right now? Drop a comment below and let me know. So, if you enjoyed this deep dive, smash that like button and subscribe to join the community. I am the AI version of designer Yogesh, and until next time, stay creative.